Hello YouTube, it's Tony. So today I'll be showing you a Crocodile Slayer guide, and so these are classified as soul devourers. They're basically located in the Sophanem Slayer Dungeon, so you need level 111 Slayer to kill them. The fastest way to get to Sophanem Slayer Dungeon is by using the teleport tablet. You can also use the max guild skill portal, then tune it to the luminous divination portal. After that you're just gonna run north and a little to your west and you'll find it. Now the other option you can try is the Menethos Lodestone, then run east and talk to the guard to cross the bridge. So I repeated this a couple of times in my previous guides, but I'm just going to explain it again. So after you enter the dungeon for the first time, just go to the northeast room, then climb down the ladder, then run north and all the way to the east side, and then go all the way south again. So when you see another bridge, just run a little to your west. With that being said, I suggest you unlock the shortcut, and so you're just going to click on the large rocks and remove them. So anytime you want to go to this place again, just go to the southeast corner to use the shortcut, then climb down the chasm. Now the crocodiles are all the way east, and you just simply want to run past the gorillas. Alright, so here are the mechanics. They're fairly easy to kill, but I mean they can get pretty hard if you get piled. The reason being is because they hit very hard and accurate. So after 5 auto attacks, they'll pound its tail on the ground, and it'll do a lot of damage. I'm pretty sure it hits like 3k melee damage. Alright, so here's my equipment setup. I'm using melee because Scrimshaw Vampirism can sustain the damage. So I have a Noxious Scythe, and the alternative I would suggest is Dragon Rider Lance. The perks I'm using are Precise 5 and Aftershock 3. Then I have the full Slayer helmet. For the Torva plate body, the perks I would suggest are Enhanced Devoted 3 and Crackling 3. The Enhanced Devoted is going to be really helpful here. Then I have Bandos or Torva plate legs. I mean you don't need much defense after this, so the perks I have are Genocidal and Biting 2 plus Mobile. After that I have Bandos gloves and boots, but I mean you can use Silverhawk boots if you want agility XP. For the gloves, you can otherwise use Cinderbane gloves, and those are really amazing for poison damage. Now I actually use Bandos gloves in this case because I forgot to bring them here. The ring I have is Surgeon's Ring, but otherwise use Luck of the Dwarves if you want Hazelmere Signet chance. So the amulet I have is Amulet of Souls. Now because they hit fairly hard, this amulet can soak back some of the damage by using Deflect Melee. So now this is the most important part. You must have a Scrimshaw Vampirism. So the reason for this is going to be your main healing source. You can also use Penance or Vampirism Aura, but I'm actually using Inspiration Aura in this case. Then finally I have the Elf City Quiver, and that is basically for prayer bonus. Alright, so here's my inventory setup. I have the Aggression Potion, and then I have the Holy Overloads. Now the Weapon Poison Plus Plus can also help here. After that I have the Replenishment Potions, and I bring a couple of Prayer Potions. You also want to bring Emergency Food just in case you get hit pretty hard. So I also have the Dual Wield switch, and that's pretty optional, but it really helps with extra AoE damage from the Flurry ability. Now I didn't have a main hand Drygo with me, so I used the tier 85 blades. So each kill you must require this feather. So I have the Spring Cleaner and Alcrunes, and those are self-explanatory. So for the optionals, you can bring Ring of Vigor and Enhance Excalibur. Finally I have the Charming Imp, which is going to be in my Slayer tool belt. The Familiar I'm using is a legendary pet, but I mean otherwise you can just use a Demon Brawler if you want extra AoE. Alright, so here are the prayers. I'm using Turmoil and Deflect Melee. Now Soul Split's not going to heal back enough damage, so don't bother with that. So here's my action bar. I'm just going to put Cleave on my first slot, then fill the rest with whatever basics you want. For thresholds, I have Hurricane and Quake. The other AoE threshold is going to be Flurry, which is for the Dual Wield switch. Now the Devotion ability really helps here, just in case you get Pile Spect. So the only ultimate I'm using is Meteor Strike, because you don't want to use Berserk here, as it's really dangerous. So here's a strategy. You're just going to stand where I'm standing, which is around in the middle of the dungeon. This is where most of the spawns can cluster, and it requires the least amount of movement. So you're pretty much just going to use AoE abilities as often as possible, and just pretty much just wait for the crocodiles to attack you. Again, you also want to use the Flurry ability with the Dual Wield switch, which can really give you extra kills per hour. You also want to use Devotion as often as possible, just to save some damage from you. If all your AoE abilities are on cooldown, then you want to focus on the low HP crocodiles since they have a high chance of hitting special attack on you. With that being said, they can suddenly deal lots of damage to you, but I mean overall AoE should be able to kill them fast enough. So it is fairly AFK overall, but I mean you will run into trouble sometimes. So the drops overall are fairly okay. I mean you can use a Sophanem Slayer chest to collect the drops, but I didn't actually choose to in this video because I don't really mind area looting. So factoring in the drops and the cost of the Scrimshaw, this would get me around 4 mil GP per hour, so that's 5 mil GP worth of raw drops. I did not include the chance of getting key to crossing and the vital sparks. You can expect around 300 or so Crimson Charms every hour, so it's actually pretty amazing for that. So overall this task took me 16.5 minutes, and I ended up killing 250 crocodiles. So if you were to extrapolate this in an hour, you get 900 kills. That's equivalent to at least 750k melee XP per hour, and 680k Slayer XP per hour. The amount of reputation you get is 10.5, and so this would get you 9.4k reputation per hour. So honestly, this is very amazing for Slayer XP, and it's fairly amazing for combat XP. I mean, the profit's also decent as well, and you're getting pretty nice Crimson Charms. For anyone who's curious, without Flurry Switch, I got around 5% less kills per hour. So yeah, thanks for watching and I hope it helps. If I missed anything, feel free to ask.